Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to another edition of Airy Sky Readalee's video blog. I'm Airy Sky. Welcome to the channel. I'm in the office tonight. So I have a couple updates for you guys. One is, I got a nasty comment, pretty funny by the way, and I'm going to try to make this short. Nasty comment said something like, fix my teeth. Why don't you go and F off, sir, or ma'am. Two was, I'm fat. Well, yeah, a little overweight, and it's a lose weight. Well, I have a treadmill. Three is, these people were so rude that it was flagged as inappropriate. Thank God YouTube did that, okay? Thing is, I don't have an education, and, yeah, I have some health issues, and, not really good with people. Yeah, so, you know, I hate people. Yeah, but point is I got this negative email, and I'm glad YouTube flagged it, and then I turned around and decided, you know what, we better be talking about what matters. Then I checked my email, and my email, people are like, you had good work, but they're kind of upset, you know, and one person was like, you know, it said the rude guy was, what do you call it? The rude guy who insulted me, or girl, was angry because apparently they may be on food stamps. What I was trying to relate is, you know, there's people out there that are dependent on it. Well, you know, there's videos out there that talk about different things, you know. So, you know, my brother Ted, he's complaining about I should do an educational video. Well, let's just put it this way. Watch the video tonight, right? And the video, basically, it was about the U.S. economy is collapsing. Okay, now, you know, my adopted brother, he was talking about a video, so I ran it through AI, and AI came about and popped up stating that the video that I was like a year or two ago, there was like, Dems are choking the economy by Glenn Beck, and it was reposted. So Glenn Beck reposted this video apparently, right? It was like 11 hours ago. It's been there for a while. It looks like I watched it many times apparently in the past. And so it was re-uploaded or whatever. And so I decided, okay, well, I'm not watching Glenn Beck. I won't deal with Glenn Beck. But I watched Epic Economist, I should say. And Epic Economist isn't a bad video. But the guy's been doom and gloom for 10 years, okay? And so he turns around and he's like, you know, stores are collapsing. Yeah, he said that during the Biden administration. Do you see stores collapsing? I don't. And then he said that, you know, stores are collapsing, right? And then he's like, food banks are going to collapse. And everything else is going to collapse, right? So today he had all these people talking about different things in the world. Like he went to the bank, you know, like one guy went to the bank and the bank was talking about, you know, how you had like 3 pieces of ID just to get cash out. And it's like, how many people in this day and age goes to the bank and wants cash? Plain and simple. I mean, you don't see me walking going, hey man, I need cash. I mean, I go in once a month. And I'm like, yeah, I need $100 for the taxi. I always donate $100 for the taxi. $20 for laundry. Got clean clothes. And that's it for the month. And then I get a money order and I pay the bills. So, I don't know about you, but they're all, oh, you better basically, you know. And then these people are like, you know, you better start stockpiling money because money's going to be tight. Well, and money is tight, but you got to remember, you know, all these people are talking about like 950,000 layoffs. I mean, I could ask the current number of layoffs in the country. I could actually ask, you know, and we can get the numbers. All right, there we go. Asking. So basically, the layoffs numbers should tell us because people are like, oh, the layoffs. So, you know, like one company was claiming there was like 950,000 layoffs. Another guy was complaining Intel laid off like 50,000 people. So currently there was 1.1 million job cuts. So apparently, yeah. So it says figure represents massive layoffs since 2020 technology, that AI and post-pandemic scaling, retail and federal government. So 300,000 cuts announced on targeted across various agencies. Official layoffs and discharge, permanent layoffs, temporary termination. So currently 1.1 million people aren't working. Okay, well, you know what? 1.1 million is not bad, but it ain't great because the problem is if the government turns around and cuts more, then there's a reason for it. Or I should say companies. Because think about it. All these people are like, oh, the government's not going to reopen. The food stamps are not going to be refunded. Well, this ain't about food stamps. This is about people sitting there. By the way, my poll is getting pretty good right now. I keep polling. Right now we got like 7 people. Let me just share the poll numbers with you because last time I checked, my poll number was like 7 people. Right? 7 people. Let me do this. Okay. 7 people. We're just going to open up a quick tab here. 7 people posted in the polls so far. I'm hoping we have more polls. Do you think the U.S. government or the government will be open by Thanksgiving? 7 votes. 71% so far say no. Well, currently, they're talking about the government reopening by the 17th. However, like I said, the Republicans, they're playing a dirty game of let's blame the Dems. The Dems want to blame the Repubs, and I blame them both. But for the sake of this argument tonight, is the economy collapsing? Well, it depends on who you are. If you're a government employee, they claim 750,000 government employees are furloughed or something like that, then yeah, I mean, they missed 1 check. They're like, okay, but 2 checks, and then the military is like, well, they're more worried about the military, the food stamps. But then again, when I looked at the number, like 16 to 22 million kids are going hungry. That's the thing is, the kids come first, okay? I agree, the kids come first. I'm not going to sit here and be a bunghole. Now, if the parents go, oh, I can't eat. Well, you're an adult. The kids should come first. But is the economy collapsing? Well, we're almost at $40 trillion debt, okay? Last time I checked, it was like $38 trillion, okay? Can we sustain ourselves? No. Will we sustain ourselves? No. Can you sustain yourselves? No. How can you make yourself better? Well, you got to cut corners. I mean, look at my sister. She asked about Paramount Plus and HBO. Didn't renew it yet. Why? Because currently I'm worried about the economic collapse of, just being frugal. And then, people say to me, well, how do you survive? Well, a lot of people message and say, oh, you're, a disabled freeloader. Yeah, it's because these people are angry because I'm saying, look, food stamps, should be regulated. No, food stamps shouldn't be regulated to kids. Food stamps should be regulated to alcoholics, drug users, and people that want to piss off others. Like this guy turning around and being like, So apparently, my brother Ted said they were saying if the government shutdown reaches like 2 months, the federal employees over 1 million would be like, oh yeah. Well, the thing is that's why you got the Republicans basically sitting around right now trying to spin their wheel. I mean, look, we're already in month 2, okay, and the thing is, do you really think the government's gonna really shut down? I mean, look, post comment in the comments. I mean, I can make a post about it, or a poll, but the thing is the government will reopen. The question is when. I mean, they're like, oh, the Great Reset, really. Resetting the federal government would reset the entire world, and that could cause World War III, Civil War, hunger, and anything else in between. It's like, and that could reset everything, unless you think the oligarchy is as they say, is behind it. I don't think the oligarchy is behind it, because every time I turn around, you hear someone like, I mean, look at the Trumpers. The people that sit there. My sister said the economy, it may be tapering off, but the thing is, it's not going to go down the toilet. I mean, literally. I mean, look, my sister, she's got like 2 head of cow, 2 head of pig, and other stuff in the freezers. Whereas I got plenty of food too. And I'm sitting there going, what do you invest in? Do you sit there and say, okay, I need to invest in food? Or do I need to sit back? I mean, look. I mean, let me put it this way, okay? Yeah, people like, oh, did you hear FedEx and UPS and Amazon drivers have been laid off? Yeah. I mean, but here's the funny thing, okay? So, for example, I'm going to give you an Amazon example real quick because I just love Amazon, okay? So, for example, Chloe and I were talking about Amazon, okay? We're waiting to see what happens for the future. And that's the thing. Chloe and I we're working together on a thing, right? So, for example, right, if I go over here, I got stuff in my shopping cart I have to look into, right? Wow. So, one thing. Apparently, he started tariffing Germany. Thank God thank God that ain't in my damn shopping cart. Okay, so, for example, if you look at these items, right, it says, yeah, it will come in November. If I order now, I get it November 9th. Okay, so it's like $53 in toilet paper. You guys are like, $53. Yeah, that would be a month's supply of toilet paper, okay? And a razor to shave my legs, okay? But everything else is different. Yeah, that one's pretty affordable if you want to go with that color. But then you turn around and you see other things like, you know, how come this is cheap or how come that's cheap? And, you know, I mean, literally, people are sitting there and people aren't buying. I mean, if you look at your shopping cart, the Amazon's always up and down, up and down. You got one that says prices increase. And then you look on the bottom part where it says, you know, these prices have changed and they've decreased. I've learned quickly that, you know, but the thing is when you look at these things, you're like sitting there, you know, like this. To be approved if you get a Prime Visa. I don't want a Prime Visa. My brother Ted would probably want a Prime Visa. Get a gift card. Yeah, well, I don't want a gift card. Thing is, I don't want a gift card for a Prime Visa. I don't need a Visa card. A lot of people are signing up for Visa cards because they think that's what they need for the economy. The economy could work. I mean, look, let me tell you, a lot of people messaged me, you know, emailed me. They're like, hey, Santa Rita, tell us how you can get through Christmas. Simply pre-order everything in between January and December, put it in a box, and you keep it locked up until Christmas. You wrap them all up, put them under your tree. Christmas is done. Chloe's done that for like, 8 years? I mean, literally, Chloe's pretty good. My Christmas tree's already piling up. Oh, by the way, last year's presents we never opened. Apparently, Chloe wants her laptop really bad, so she's... See, here's the problem with you guys, okay? Now, Chloe has this laptop she bought. I got to test it out. If it works, otherwise, we may have a box of backups and it's a Ted. You may get a... Dude, you may get a Dell. He'd take anything about now, okay? But honestly, the point I'm trying to make to all you lovely people is, you know, you see these clickbaiters, and it's all clickbait, you know. You see one guy saying, oh, today they drafted up new impeachment papers for Donald Trump. Why? I mean, I've heard that clickbait all the time. Epic economist, okay? Love the guy. When he first started wearing a suit and talking about and showing his face. I like the voice, okay? It's doom and gloom. But for 10 years, he's been like, oh, yeah, the government's going to be crashing and Walmart's going to run out. So I went to Walmart the other day. There's no one in there. I was like, security guards following me around. I'm like, hey, dude, what's up? Oh, you have a service dog. Okay. See, that's the other thing. I got a service dog, so he's sleeping. See? Yeah. But the point is, I don't want to be too long because, you know, it's late and I want a game. Okay. But my point is the American people, you know, there's a lot of emails coming out being like, are you a bigot? Because of the whole email thing on email, you know, on, you know, the emails are coming in on the food bank stuff. And it's like, dude, the government has to fund it. Yes, the government has to fund your food stamps. I'm not going to deny that. But the government can go, you know, thumb their nose at it and say, I'm not paying. Because, you know, the thing is, the judge said there's other buckets of money you can draft to get all $9 billion for the month. But then, My argument was in the earlier video that went 2 hours and 25 minutes is that's fine and dandy, but what about December's funds, huh? They're going to turn around and say, well, this is an emergency and this is a pandemic. I mean, look, my adopted brother Ted thinks the government's going to shut down, all right? Now, the government could not. No one knows. The problem is his brother Ted turns around and says, yeah, he's like, oh, the government's gonna reset and we're all gonna be eating dirt. Well, maybe you'll be eating dirt, but me, right now, I mean, literally, I've been putting away stuff every week for prepping. Every week, boxes of mac and cheese, oh yeah, that reminds me. I should be pricing out some more mac and cheese just in case. But my point is the American people need to realize when people sit there and say, oh, we can't do this. That's because you need to remember a guy named Dick Proenneke in Alaska was eating 15-year-old baked beans after soaking them for 3 to 5 days, sometimes even a week, and they were just fine. So think about it. You can, if you put your beans in the proper storage areas, you can eat your beans with no problem. Fortunately, the American people need to realize that that's what beans are for. Now, a lot of people are out there sitting here saying, we shouldn't be supporting you. Really? That's because the emails came in tonight that they're angry that I was like, look, food stamps, people are dependent. Thing is, you qualify, you're fine, but you have to be recertified every time or reapproved every year or every 2 years or 3 years. Fortunately, thing is if the government is shut down, how is the government going to fund anything? I mean, literally. I mean, all these people are blaming Democrats for it, okay? Now, I mean, if you want to sit there and blame Democrats, that's fine. You can blame Democrats so you're blue in the face. The problem isn't the Democrats in general. Both parties agreed. And then people started sitting there and saying, oh, look, we live in a housing complex. It's subsidized 100%. And one person pays $900 for rent, another person pays $100 for rent. It just depends on your income. And then, people turn around and say, well, those people here and these people here and those people there, fraud, waste, and abuse. And then other people turn around and they say these people here, those people there, fraud, waste, and abuse, Social Security, or SSI, or food stamps, or Medicaid, or Medicare. I've never seen Medicaid fraud yet, or Medicare in my life, but I've seen a lot of other fraud, waste, and abuse. Or as AOC's email said, waste, fraud, and abuse, WFA. Yeah, that's weird, right? She reversed 2 of them. Anyways, maybe she just wanted to be unique, but point is the government collapsing? Look, for 10 years, people have been saying, you better prep, you better do this, you better do that. Is the government collapsing? Possibly. No one knows. That's the thing. You get these harebrained guys that just start watching videos of what's his name? Glenn Beck talking about the thing. Video's been out there for a long time. Old video, by the way. AI ran it and said it's an old video. But guess what? They re-uploaded it again. Problem is, how many people out there want to turn around and look at those videos and say, oh, the Democrats are choking the economy. That's because most Republicans don't want to pay for any Democrat programs. Like, for example, do you think a Democrat wants to go to work every day, go home and find out Jezebel's at home with 9 kids on food stamps, government assistance, Social Security, whatever, all of the money is going in, and she's got subsidized housing, and you're working your butt off paying for it? That's the whole point I was making is, and I think that's the whole point my stepbrother Ted's making is the Democrats are sitting there. I mean, look, has anyone ever read the book, I can't remember the book's name. It's somewhere, and it's like the End of Man or something, right? And basically it's a story written by a woman who talks about how the economy tanked, right? The economy tanked in the 20s and early 30s, and then the New Deal had to be made because, well, it's the New Deal. Let me see if I can find it, the End of Man or something. Anyways, yeah, but all these books I have, and yeah, not one of them will tell us. Yeah, some of these political books are funny back in the day, but do it yourself, yada yada yada. I don't know where some of my books went. Sometimes I wonder. I had a great book recently. It was called I can't remember offhand, but anyways, it was called something like The End of Man or something. Yeah, something like that. Anyways, is this? No. Anyways, one day I'll find it. But anyways, there's two books I wanted to talk about. Okay, one is called the End of Man or something. All right, the book's called like The End of Man or something. Right? It's all about the Great New Deal. Anyways, I couldn't find it. Otherwise, I'll find it later. So, anyways, I'll look it up on Amazon for you real quick. So it's like The End of Man or something, right? Or you know, the something of man. You know. The end of mankind, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Sylvia Brown. Hold on. The End of Man. New World Deal, maybe? Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so anyways, it's called The Rise of the Deal and the Decline. No, The Forgotten Man, that's what it is. So The Forgotten Man basically is about by Amity Shales and antidote to 1937 recession. And it basically goes into the FDR-style recovery programs. Forgotten Man, depression historian, classifies its review in the journal label history as born-again anti-social Darwinism and calls it much a brief for the Bush tax cuts of 2001 as a history of depression in the 30s. Called Shales a revisionist with a blind view of the New Deal. Historian wrote Shales ignored historical GDP and blah, blah, blah. So basically my aunt was saying it's a great book, and it's highly recommended. And then you have The Naked Communist. Now, The Naked Communist is about how this country can go into The Naked Communist. You can get the hardbound version right there, and Restoring Freedom, and it's by W. Cleon Skousen, and it is a really good book. And basically, it talks about how he explains, because he was third in command at the FBI at the time, how he explains how the FBI was investigating communism. You know how that played out back in the day under J. Edgar Hoover. But we're not here to talk about J. Edgar Hoover. We're talking about, all this mixes together with, are we literally living in a time where we're going communist? Well, a lot of people say we are, because look at, they're saying, oh, we get this communist mayor in New York. He ain't communist, he's socialist. He's offering programs where the richies pay for his programs. That's what it is. So the rich pay the programs, and then you guys get free or low cost stuff like the state store. Someone said, well, the state stores will run out. State stores may be a trial, right? Maybe during his tenure as mayor. Unfortunately, the problem with the state stores is they'll limit what they can put in there to whatever the state wants to put in there. It won't be just limited to what not or etc. So, for example, this is why people were like wanting to get away from communism, because if you watch any YouTube vids of communism, you'll see that the state controls what TP you use, what toothbrush you use, what toothpaste you use. It's basically like 1984 but harsher. So a lot of people out there, They don't want communism because they want to own their property. But at the same time, most of the people nowadays need to sit back and look at the facts of what you're buying. Okay, for example, a lot of people are saying, the Epic Economist is like, well, people aren't buying things, retail slowly dying. Well, I'm sorry, but back in the day, okay, when I was shopping at malls, I'd go to Babbage's, Software Etc., GameStop, and EB Games. Now, EB Games, Babbage's, Software Etc., all merged to GameStop. Funko Land, same thing. They all merged into GameStop. What happened? Games went out of business. Now you have one person, one job, one correction. And yet, the American people, the American people turned around and, so figure that out and then go from there. Americans, I mean, look, people sit there and Americans are being frugal. They are literally being frugal. Yeah, frugal as frugal can be. And because of it, a lot of people out there are scared. They're scared. They're more scared than you can think about because they don't know what's happening. All these people are sitting there, right? And they say, oh, the economy is failing. It's not failing. I'll tell you what's happening. My brother Ted's like, oh, the government's failing. We can't get our money out of the bank. You don't have any money to worry about, so why even worry about it, right? What? He's going to go in and say, give me $20,000 on my credit card. He doesn't have a credit card, but, I'm making a joke here, okay? Thing is, you think they're going to really give him $20,000? No. I mean, literally, what's he worried about? He's got to refinance his house. I mean, come on, look. The American people are tired. The American people are fed up. But the government shut down, and that is why no one's buying it. I mean, look. I mean, if you look at the list of places that I would shop at, right? Back in the day, there was a mall I used to go to, right? Let's just click on it, and I will look at the directory. Oh, here we go. The directory. Yeah, here we go. Stores and restaurants. Okay. Let's just do this, all right? So we got Aeropostale. Watch repairs out of JCPenney. Let's see. AMC Theaters. Let's see. Apple, wouldn't buy that. AT&T, not interested. Auntie Annie's. Yeah, if you want pretzels. You see? Let's see. We're going down the list. Okay, I'm just going to speed this up here. So, Ben Bridge. Nope. Blazing Onions. Oh, Blazing Onions. Whatever that is. Anyways, maybe it's a restaurant. Build-A-Bear. Long time ago. All these stores have changed over the years. Chipotle. Yeah, if you want a burrito, I may go through Chipotle's, but that's about it. See, if you look at your mall's directory, it'll tell you exactly, for example, what you're looking for, there's a burger place, I think, but, we're already in E's. We're halfway through it, and let me just tell you, there's GameStop. So GameStop and Chipotle's so far, too. I'd be going to the mall for that and that. Chloe would be going to H&M and whatever food place, you see. 3. She'd be going Hot Topic and H&M. Yeah. With me, there's JCPenney. They're still in business? I thought they went out of business a long time ago. Okay. See, that's the thing. There's only 2 places so far in the mall. I don't even see a McDonald's in there. Yeah. Back in the day, we used to have Orange Julius. What happened to that one? They took that out, too, you see. Back in the day, we used to have some really good stuff. But nowadays, nope. See, Orange, we just passed O's. Now we're in R's. So, 2 stores. Think about it. So, just for the argument's sake, because, people are saying, well, we love your context. There's Starbucks. That was a thing today that was talking about Starbucks, how people are going to stop making, the Cheesecake Factory. So, the Cheesecake Factory is 3, yeah. So, 3. Oh, so 3 stores out of the whole mall. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 4 if you count the Washington State Lotto, but you get the idea. We're not on Z. So 4 places. 4 places in the entire mall. Now, think about it. Now, there's an example for you right there. Would you go to a mall? No. Would you waste your money on the mall? No. Why wouldn't anyone waste their money at the mall anymore? Because they could go to Amazon and basically get the crap. That's what they're doing. They could turn around and be like, oh, I'm just going to go to Amazon, or I'm going to go to Target, or I'm going to go to Toys R Us. Toys R Us is out of business, I think, but you guys get the idea, right? The economy is tanking because most people are literally looking at Amazon as their main thing. I don't even shop at Target much. And when I do, it's usually a few items like tortilla chips and salsa. We got more salsa than tortilla chips, so yeah. And then, someone will probably post, you don't need tortilla chips. That's true. I run on a treadmill every day too, but I'm going to do extra treadmill workouts because I don't want to be on YouTube. But when it comes to the economy, you have to ask yourself the big question, which is, how much more are you willing to take? Literally, how much more? People sit there and say, oh, well, the economy's great. It doesn't affect me until they turn around, right? And it affects them. They can't drive their car much. Or, they say, oh, I got a full tank of gas and I'm not driving my car, until whatever. The thing is eventually you're going to see, literally a lot of people are saying we're pumping more oil out and selling it as fast as we can. But, the thing is even so, the price of fuel is not going down. It's going up. And there's a lot of people complaining about fuel, but then look at the malls. Every mall or every sub-mall that I've seen at, there's only one shop. I think if it was, that was Alderwood, by the way, I grew up at. 4. Now, Bell Square Mall, I think Bellevue Square, they had like 3 floors of shopping back in the day. Bellevue Square. Now it's called Bellevue Collection, right? Bellevue Collection, 9 to 9. Yeah, so indoor maps. Okay, let's look at the indoor maps because this may be interesting. So, for example, I'm speeding this up so it'll tell me exactly. So there's the indoor yeah, let me just see the shopping because I want to see the shopping only. Do you have a directory? The collection shopping direction, yeah, so they redid Bellevue, okay. Alright, so basically, most of these shops I wouldn't shop at anyways, but that's just because it's me. Because, I'm not one of these that thinks, back in the day my mom would be like, we're going to the mall. My mom's favorite was Suncoast. Suncoast and the Warehouse, and they went out of business. Yeah, the Warehouse and Suncoast went out of business. And Sam Goody and, Camelot Music, those are great places. But then, the point is, people were like, yeah, nowadays you can just go online and order your music, or just, most people say, oh, what do you need music CD for? Some people like it, Alright, so far I have looked at, the 3-floored mall, nothing. Back in the day, they had everything you needed, but now, yeah. I just couldn't believe how, yeah, there's Pottery Barn. Heard they have a Airstream named after that. I always wanted to know what it was. But there's all these people, and the thing is, you look at your mall, sorry, not your mom, and you look at it and you sit there and most of these people, there's a sweet factory. I'd probably go in there. That'd probably be it. Literally, the sweet factory. There's Tesla, buy a car at the Tesla thing. Yeah, but how, yeah. Anyways, I know a friend of mine, he's like, oh, I want a Tesla. Yeah, but thing is, he's gay, and I wouldn't buy a Tesla, but that's just me. But if he wants Tesla, let him. He's always one of these people that think he's, yeah, so anyways, malls come and malls go. I was looking for one, but I don't think it's available anymore. But a lot of people are always saying to me, well, what one do you go? I didn't even see anything tasty. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So apparently, that one company that I always thought about went out of business. Nope, it's not even there anymore. So they change location. So there you go. See? So every mall you look at in your directory, it'll tell you if you want to even waste your time. Malls are dying because no one wants to spend the money. They go online. So many people do YouTube videos. So many people do YouTube reviews. So many people do so many things, and yet no one's well, what's that word? No one's investing in malls anymore. No one's investing. Back in the day, the arcades were the hippest thing in the 80s. Now, you just go buy a video game, plug it in at home, and play it all the time until the cows come home. That's how it works. But for the sake of the argument, the economy, if the economy was truly tanking, which it isn't, it's just we're in a downward spiral because, you got people saying, well, we need to replace people, right, with AI. All right, so who's going to manage the AI farms? Who's going to manage the power? Who's going to manage the construction? Construction gets done. There's going to be large cities with AI, but AI doesn't pay the bills. So what happens? People are going to sit there, and this is how it's going to kill the economy. All right. The economy is going to be killed because AI takes over, needs a massive crap amount of power, and they need nuclear powers. Look at... what is it? Google, I think it is. Google or Microsoft. I think it was Microsoft. They want to build a Copilot AI thing in Richland, I think it was, with 960 milliwatt electricity. I think it was in Richland, Washington. Let me look that up. AI farm, Richland, Washington. Nuclear reactors. Right? So they're trying to get the government, right? Cascade team chose to build nuclear plant in Richland. So the Cascade Advanced Energy Facility near Washington Power, it's AI and data centers with 12 SMR nuclear reactors up to 960 megawatts. Cascade Advanced Energy Facility, right? So they want 12 small modular reactors, right? So they want to take up Washington State, and they want to get the government to approve it. And Washington's like, dude, we only have like one nuclear reactor in the whole dang state, right? And they just want to, literally, 12 nuclear reactors. It's like walking into, what do you call it? It's like walking into Hanford or walking into that one place. There's one nuclear power plant in all of Washington, right? One. Chernobyl, because remember, the more power plants you have, the more likely something can go wrong. And let's just say Richland is part of the Tri-City area. So what if some nuclear disaster happened and you see the nuclear fallout going like this way and up halfway eastern Washington and down into Oregon and part of Idaho and into Montana? Come on. We'd be like Chernobyl. It'd just be like... And do we really need that many nuclear power plants for AI? No. And besides, a lot of people know that even though they say, oh, it's good for the economy, it's not good for the economy when you turn around and you got to find a way to get rid of spent nuclear uranium rods. People say to me, well, you should get a job or you're a freeloader or whatever, right? But then other people say to me, how do you know these things? Simple. Where do you dispose nuclear uranium rods? Usually they dig a hole, concrete and lead it in, put a sign on the top that says don't open for 10,000 years. That's it. And near a river or somewhere. Yeah, look at the uranium rod, the storage facilities in Hanford. Some of them were underground in the river, apparently. And guess what? They are underground in this and that cooling. Some cracked, some whatever. Some got into the river, and they're still cleaning the river up to this day. And guess what? They're like, oh, is it that bad? Yeah, when you watch it, sometimes you're up there and they say don't go fishing in that area. Next thing you know, you're pulling up a three-eyed fish, okay, or maybe a five-eyed fish. Come on, right? And that's when you realize toxic waste and nuclear waste is pretty bad. to mutate fish. Yeah, think about it. And do you really want to eat that mutated fish? I mean, I'm not trying to be funny here, but the point is, all these people say, well, you know, the jobs are going away of AI. Yeah. I mean, look at the Taco Bell experiment when a guy came in and AI was running the front desk, and all of a sudden they asked for 18,000 waters. Actually, I could read you that story because, you know, that was actually true. Taco Bell AI debacle. Taco Bell AI debacle is a viral incident when AI orders had failed. Someone ordered, Taco Bell rethinks AI driving through after a man orders 18,000 waters. That's always going to be a problem with AI drive-through. 18,000 waters. Think about it. If you ever test AI out thoroughly like I have, okay? Now, let me put it to you this one. My adopted brother, he did an AI test a while ago with GROK. He thinks Grok is best and Elon Musk's best, and, you know, Elon Musk is his idol and whatever, right? Who cares? I'm not going to be a little Leon. Or as they call him, Felon Musk. I've heard it all, okay? But truthfully, the AI claims that the case will be fine and the case will be his case. You know, I won't go into details. It's personal business. Win-win, right? He lost. He literally lost. He put all his data into AI, and that data could have went to Palantir. Could have went anywhere. Has anyone ever thought whatever you feed to AI may be going to a central hub where AI is retaining it for the government's usage? Think about it. What if you turn around and you ask AI a question about 20 times about the legalese of something or the ramification of something? You could be going somewhere else. Who knows, right? They claim it doesn't, but, you know, Google's trying to save your AI chat. And so the American people these days, they need to realize, you know, that, like my brother Ted, we were talking about AI, and I said, you know, I ran through AI, 3 AIs, right, that the economy is collapsing by his point, right? AI came back and said the economy's not crashing. It's just all this doom and gloom, right? Doom and gloom. But here's the kicker. But the economy, right? The AI said the reason the economy is down right now, not the stock market is because the government's jobs aren't there. And if people aren't in the government ain't working and collect a paycheck and air traffic controllers isn't, right? And then all these companies lay off, right? They're like FedEx laid off and Amazon laid off. You know, I used to, right the end of last month, AI, right? It wasn't AI, it was Amazon, right? I'd order coffee and it'd be there in like 18 hours. My coffee would be delivered the next day. Then, now, you order coffee, for example, and it's like your coffee will be there in 3 days. Yeah, so it's like you better plan accordingly. So Amazon is literally turning around and basically cutting corners. And the reason for it is I think it hasn't to do with, what's that word? I think it truly has to do with the government, running out of funds. It's the government's not employed right now. The government shut down, so no one's buying anything. That's the thing. I mean, look, Amazon's sitting there going, "Oh well, you know, we just got to cut corners for a while." That's great, you're cutting corners, but thing is for example, if you go to the Buy It Again program, right? Oh, here we go. My coffee. Let's just say I need my coffee, right? It says right there, and now it says on the Buy It Again, get it by in 3 days. So my coffee will be there in 3 days. Everything else will be 3 days, but lately it's been 5 to 9 due to the fact that there's a error in Amazon. And then, you know, some like Chloe was complaining about pre-orders, right? She did there we go. The Oots cheese ball barrel. Has anyone seen one of those cheese ball barrels? They're like this. They're just filled with cheese ball. Yes, I know. I this month I sampled a cheese ball barrel because I wanted to. But the fact of the matter is, when it comes to how can I say it? When it comes to um, orders, for example, that there's that thing, the Chef Boyardee is down in price again, so people are like, oh yeah. So the coffee and most everything will be coming on the 9th. So everything, the paper towels, if I needed more, would be the 10th, and other items. But some items are capped, so you can't buy them because Amazon's like, no, you can only have X amount now, and you can't buy any more. Now, one of the things I do like to look for from time to time is my favorite flavor of ramen, but my favorite flavor of ramen has gone up in price. So you have to take that into account. You also have to take into account of other items you may or may not need. But then, like for example, I was just looking at macaroni and cheese because of it. Candy's going up in price, by the way. And there's the mac and cheese, and then there's my other thing, like right there. Someone's like, you can't have this coffee, but you can't have that coffee if you want that one. It's currently sold out because everyone's buying that type of coffee. Then the scalpers are raising the coffee. Look at that. Hills Brothers, they want more. I was looking at, oh, here it is. There's my mac and cheese right there. So, I was just looking for that because, I haven't had a box like that in a while. And Cracker Barrel is hard to get a hold of. It's like they'll give you Kraft Deluxe, but they won't give you Cracker Barrel. And so I used to eat, certain mac and cheeses all the time, which was like $1.98 a box. Now it's like $3 a box. So again, the economy is hurting, and people are literally buying, being frugal. I mean, like tonight I made pork chops and didn't eat them all. I had pork chop tomorrow and some salad. But point is you have to cut food. And then, when it comes to making foods, you got to make, you peel potatoes, throw them in a soup. Peel your onions, throw it in a soup, and have potato and onion soup. I mean, you could literally live on potato and onion soup till your onions and potatoes are good. And then you could do potato, onion, and celery soup. I mean, the point is the thing is, a lot of people are like, well, the economy's hurting, yes, but it's only because the government is shut down. Now, a lot of people say, oh, the government's not going to reopen. That's why they're having a run on banks. The thing is the government, if the government wasn't reopened, they'd come out and say, we're not reopening, to hell with you people. Instead, you can blame both parties. I mean, look, the thing is, there's people out there saying if you're in your 50s, just drop your health care and hope like hell you don't need a doctor. And if you do need one, just pay cash. They'll give you a discount for paying cash. I mean, literally. I mean, maybe that's what you want to do, but the thing is a lot of people are like, open the government. The thing is, will the government open? Yes. When? I don't know. In the meantime, a lot of people are saying, that the children need to be fed with the food stamps. I agree. Fortunately, if we just give the food stamps to the children or the parents of the children and everyone else that doesn't need it, they can stretch out food stamps a couple months while they try to figure out how the government opens. Unfortunately, the problem is there's people that are going to work hungry. And then there's other things. But, people are like, oh, don't you have any sympathy? I do. Unfortunately, my main argument was before, looking at these numbers, like 1 million people are out of work. We have 340 million people, okay? We got like 16 million to 20 million children, right? Under 18 or something, right? That's 320 million, I think, people. So how do we end up with 320 million people unless half of them are illegal or whatnot? I mean, literally, think about it from the point of view, from the argument's sake. I mean, will the economy collapse? I don't know. A lot of people are worried about Thanksgiving and Christmas. If you're worried, check out your food banks. They may help you. If you don't worry about it, then don't worry about it. But my point is the American people, need to sit there and ask, is the government collapsing? Highly unlikely. I mean, in my opinion, I don't think so. But then again, people say, oh, you're blind and retarded and stupid, and okay, I'll take that. I'm blind, retarded, and stupid. Yeah, I am. I guess. Because, in my opinion, you turn on a video, you look at a video, you think this video is clickbait, and usually it is. I mean, literally, every clickbait video I see, it's all about bringing in the money. I mean, for example, right here, for example, it's like president has a meltdown, 253,000, and then right there, the FBI, for example, 190,000 plus views. The FBI is now asking ICE to identify themselves. Truly, wow. Yeah. And then, you got a guy here that's talking about how he wants to, 95,000 views for a guy who endorses Donald Trump's authoritarianism, whereas everyone else is pushing back. I mean, this is clickbait. I mean, a lot of these things are clickbait. I mean, literally. I mean, the people voted and they said, no, we're not good. I mean, the truth is, people say to me, Rita, could you tell me a truth that people don't want to hear? Because a lot of people, turn around and right? And for example, this one here is like people are having tears over affordable housing, healthcare, and free buses. In New York, apparently, it's like, dude. So people are saying, for example, give us the truth, Rita. Give us the truth of why these people are complaining or clickbaiting. Okay, I'll give you the truth. Republicans and Democrats. The Democrats keep saying, they're tired of the Republicans, like my adopted brother, saying we own libs, right? We own the libs, right? We own the tranny freaks. We own the men in dresses. We own the old bags. We own, right? Okay. So the truth is these people come out and they're watching left-wing media. And left-wing media, the ones that aren't being like CNN and Newsmax and all this crap, they turn around and they post things like, for example, they're all hooting and hollering, like the blue states or the left-wing people, and they're all praising the death of, say, Charlie Kirk, for example. And my cousin, she's all angry. I made a joke with her a while ago saying, hey, no one listens to me about the joke about, no one listens to me, so, why was everyone worried about a guy being killed, right? Fortunately, that wasn't the right thing to say at the time. This was September. All right, it's almost 2 months. She has a message. I was going to email her anyways, asking her if she's okay. So, anywho, I worry about my cousin, right? So, anyways, the thing is, the Republicans turn around, and they're tired of paying for other people's stuff. Why do you think this guy's like, get your teeth fixed? Really, can't get them fixed at this time unless you want me to pull them all out into dentures. My teeth are basically still natural. They may have holes in them, and I'm still got, but I'm not a drug user and never have been. So my teeth are just, back in the day, they tried to give me a retainer, and the retainer didn't work. Then they tried to give me braces. That didn't work. Mom couldn't afford it. So you want to blame my family's finances because of other things. Finances back then were very expensive. Some people had dentures. Some people had retainers. Others had braces, and how many people nowadays have braces? How many? You tell me. So, anyways, where was I? Because I got sidetracked. So the bottom line is there's people out there, they're like, oh, is the government going to collapse? No, I mean, it could, but that's if the government keeps closing up. Now, the government may collapse if we sit there and we see the government may collapse if they're still closed down until January. But the thing is, do you really think it's going to be? I mean, all these people are like, oh, the government's going to stay closed. Possibly, but also you got to ask yourself, will it happen? No. I don't think so. I think they want to open up in November, right before Thanksgiving, because if they don't, then they can sit there and say, sir, the do-nothing Democrats. Well, thing is, like I said, the Republican side, they don't want to pay. I mean, look, there's a lot of Republicans that say get rid of Social Security. We don't need Social Security. Okay, so there's a lot of Republicans that don't want to pay for it. They want their own retirement. Okay, so, think of my adopted brother. If he heard that the Republicans are like, oh yeah, get rid of Social Security would be better suited, then what happens to the guy that says get rid of Social Security and his mom's on it and she's like 85? What's he gonna do? I'll take care of mom. Really? Mm-hmm. I mean, you gotta ask yourself, what is the future? The future? I don't know. But is the future bright? I don't know. Will the future be bright? I don't know. I can guarantee that right now we have to stay in the biggest picture in the world. And that is the biggest picture in the world. Yeah. And the American people are fed up. They're fed up with people being freeloaders. That is. I mean, the average American, and the people are like, well, we wouldn't be in this mess if the thing is, look, in the 80s, in the 90s, in the 2000s, in the 2010s, up to a certain year, people started buying so much crap. And then most people said, well, the crap's coming from China, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Myanmar, the Asian countries. I mean, most of it, Japan. I mean, in the 80s, remember, it was like made in Japan. Sony made a lot of stuff in Japan. Then they slowly phased out and went to China. I mean, Japan was one of the leading factories, and they wanted to make more money. So they got a deal, and they put all their factories pretty much in China. And so Japan, all these economies of the world that moved their factories and moved stuff over to China, China got the big hubs. They wanted, they had enough work people that they could just sit there and put together a thing. Now China is becoming the number one, and some say, well, the currency of the U.S. dollar, the reserve currency of the world, will change to China yuan. I mean, it could. I mean, the thing is the American people are sitting there saying, we have to be number one. We are not number one. And that is the thing. A lot of people say, we should, but the thing is, look at a lot of companies nowadays. A lot of companies are, like the wealthy, the mega wealthy. They're basically having their boats built in Europe. Basically, literally. And then I saw one guy say, "Oh, this boat's great. This great boat. This was like a $10 million boat, right? 7 of them manufactured yachts, 120 footers or something. They're all manufactured in China." So many problems, electrical problems, electric this, electric that, and, people are like, yeah, it's pretty good until you basically find out your Chinese-made boat's basically sinking in the Pacific Ocean for some reason. I mean, think about it. So the American people need to realize right now that, are we going into a depression? Possibly. How can we prepare for it? Stockpile what you can. Don't spend. I mean, all these people are saying there's going to be a financial blackout soon from, November 25th to December 2nd. Why do they say that? Because they want to cut. Amazon. They want to stab Amazon. They want to stab Target. They want to stab Walmart. They want to say, look, you can only buy what you only need, and that could save money. I mean, look. Chloe says to me, Chloe is looking at me today, and she said, I didn't buy anything today at 7-Eleven. Literally. And then people say to me, oh, Rita, have you bought anything? Not lately. My card still got the pending charges that they're dropping off to reallocate the funds for the double charges that weren't supposed to be. I had like quadruple charges on my internet bill. Internet company couldn't figure it out. And the like I said, and the bank's like, oh, those are just errors, really. So the bank's making money off my interest, by the way. And then I had to do some research because my brother Ted's like, oh, they injected money into the bank to keep them afloat. No, they actually injected liquidity because of the inflation. Do your research. That's what they did. Unfortunately, if there's a high inflation, by the way, I think it was like 2.8%. It was the COLA for this coming 2026 for Social Security. 2.8%. I mean, literally, people's electric bill. I mean, next year, this is what I heard, right? I heard at the beginning of 2025, the electric company was going to charge 6%. Then 2026, 6%. And then 2027, 6% higher. I mean, so if you get a 2.8% increase in your funds, you're going to have to turn off all your lights, live in the dark, just so you can meet the expectation of the electric company. Eventually, they're going to tax you to the death where you can't afford your electricity. And then the electric company goes, oh, well, we're not making any money because these people are being frugal. That's where you come in to save money by turning off it. I turn off my devices. I leave my TV on at night. My bill is really cheap right now. I mean, are we going into a depression? Maybe. Maybe not. It just depends on how the government handles things. A lot of people are sitting there, oh, Project 2025 says there's a great reset. Okay. You find the page number of Project 2025 and a great reset, and I'll look it up for you guys. I'll even read it for you. But so far, Project 2025 doesn't say anything about it. But in the end, yeah. Yeah, no. I mean, literally. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, point is there's, yeah. I mean, are we going to see all these people saying things like, Walmart, Amazon, Target, UPS, FedEx are all cutting corners? Maybe, and I'll tell you why they're cutting corners. Because all these people are paranoid. Oh, the stock market's doing good, but they're cutting corners. Okay, well, let's talk about the cutting corners aspect, because I can tell you exactly why they're cutting corners, and it's easy. It's because no one right now is buying anything. People are sitting there. 1 million people aren't buying anything. But then again, you hear all these people on video saying, well, the stock market's going to crash soon. Stockpile beans. So they're buying only what they need. They're not thinking, that everything's going to go digital, or stock market's going to crash, or the economy's going to crash. They're going to force you to have digital ID and digital this and digital that. And then I hear people say, oh, yeah, it's happening already. Really? Only in what, 1 or 2 countries? I mean, literally. The point is the American people need to realize that, that we can save the country. And to do that, we need to know first what's going on, and we're not being told. We're just, people are like panicked. They're like, all these people have theories, and then these people run on these theories, and then these people run on these theories, and then they go and they watch a video about, run on the bank. So yeah, really. I mean, I could walk into my bank, probably ask for $500 or $1,000 in cash if I wanted to. Not that I would, and they'd probably give it to me because, well, it's a small bank, and they have the money. Unfortunately, most people don't ask for that much money. I mean, literally. I mean, there's not many people in the world that would complain. I mean, literally, my adopted brother's like, So you don't go to the store or whatever, or you don't go to the bank. I ask for $120 in cash a month unless I want to cut the taxi service in half, and then it's $70 cash. Anyway, look at it. It works pretty dang good. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, literally. That's all I'm trying to say, you know. Yeah. I mean, trying to find something. I just saw a video today, and yet it's not on my feed. Uh, oh, let me see. Hmm. 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 Yeah, well, anyways, I mean, that video was around here, but yeah, oh, here we go. Is this it? No. Let's see. Ah, no. No, there's that one, yeah. That ain't it. Here it is. The crash of the American economy is worse than you think, right? 48,000 views for today. 48,000 views in one day, clickbait. And the guy has been literally saying it for freaking 10 years that the economy is going to crash, okay? So think about it. 10 years, and all of a sudden, the Democrats, quote unquote, win, all these countries and sweep things. And all of a sudden, what happens? You hear people say, well, the problem is the American people finally got it wise, and they had to punish someone, so they punished the transgender people. Fine and dandy. I mean, literally, that's what you want to say, because you're upset that these people are turning around and they're saying no to Project 2025 and um, no to Trumpism. I mean, literally, that's what the latest news is going around right now. People are like, no, we're not going to be submitting to Trumpism. We're not going to submit to ICE breaking into people's houses, kicking in doors, detaining people. And these people see it on thingies. I don't even watch these videos where ICE kicks in doors, breaks cars. Literally, the point is, the people, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but the point is, you have all these people saying the economy is going down the toilet because ICE is, what do you call it? ICE is, yeah. I mean, I don't know. How do I explain it? ICE is, oh, people are scared, so they're not going to work, or they're scared, so they're doing minimalist, and that's why the economy's tanking. Well, or it's basically, like Donald Trump turning around and saying, hey, you want to come to our country and visit? You got to pay $150,000 tour visa. And people are like, we're not paying it, so what happens? Tourism goes down, and then everyone goes, well, literally, you have all these people thinking, if we have high tour visas, why don't every country in the world go, oh, you want to come to our country? $1,000,000 tourist visa, because we don't like you Yanks. Then people would be like, well, I can't go traveling. And then Canada, you go to the border, and they're like, sorry, dude, you need to have this, and this, and you need a $2,000,000 insurance policy to go back to your country. Hold on a second. See, the point is that's what's going to happen in the future. And this is another reason why the economy's tanking. go soon, but I would like to make my final pitch to you guys real quick, where it goes like this. You see, there's two ways the Democrats and the Republicans can work together. They can open up the government with a clean CR with no strings attached, which right now the Democrats that voted and sweeped all the country apparently, and they're like, oh yeah, we got a mandate. They're basically putting Donald Trump on notice apparently. So what's going to happen is they're going to say, no, we're going to basically get health care. And here's my question, okay? I want you guys to think about it. My brother Ted would be like, oh, you're not thinking outside the box. Actually, I'm thinking better than you, Ted. What is health care going to do for you guys if the jobs market goes down the toilet? I mean, think about it. If no one's buying anything, if you go to the mall and the mall's like, all these mall stores are getting smaller and smaller and shut down and people and, you know, eventually no one's going to buy. What happens if Tesla loses in the United States and Elon goes, my business is going down the toilet because no one's buying Tesla? Maybe because no one can afford a Tesla. No one can afford the financing. So what are you going to do? Automate your cars and be like, oh yes, my cars are automated. No one's going to buy it. And you see, here's the problem. You see, currently, some people can have jobs. Some people can't have jobs. But the more you automate things and the more you do things, the more the jobs are wrong. I mean, look at the jobs numbers, right? The more people get laid off, the less people buy stuff. The less people buy stuff, the more the stores go under. You see? So then, what is the point of the Democratic Party fighting for health care? For example, well, health care is a factor. Everyone's entitled to health care. By your opinion, everyone's entitled to health care. In my opinion, everyone is entitled to it to a point. But how many people are entitled to it if they don't want to pay for it, or they want low thing, and they want the government to socialize the program by having everyone pay a certain amount? Now, if I had to pay health care, you know, people say, oh, get a job and blah, blah, blah. I don't have an education that much. I do have some skills, but it's not that much. So what happens? I mean, we can turn around and tell everyone in my apartment complex, get a job. Every one of us has to get a job because you're a drug addict, you're a boozer, you're on food stamps, you're a drunk, you're an alcoholic, you're a drug addict, you're a person on SSDI, you're on SSDI, you're on SSDI, you're on SSI. We can get rid of it all. Fortunately, thing is, we're not going to, because most of these people, they think, oh, they're not going to touch me. Really, government finds out, oh, you're a crackhead and you're a crackhead and you're a crackhead and you're a crankhead and you're a meth head and you're a pothead, for example. What happens? All of a sudden, the government says, no, we're not paying you. But for the sake of the argument, if the government keeps shutting down and Ted goes, oh, they're going to fire everyone. Well, let them fire everyone, because what happens when they fire everyone? Well, let's see. Then the government shuts down. Then one day Ted goes and says, oh, I can't get SSI and SSDI retirement. No one can, because they just took away Social Security because, you know, they're like, oh, the government shut down and we couldn't afford to, you know, the Social Security is mandated. Social Security may be mandated, but Social Security, they're only opening. Social Security can only run certain programs of Social Security. I mean, literally, they can run they could have 7,000 people working the Social Security Administration while fun fishing game in the mini game. Yeah, okay, dude. That's what you think. Anyways, I'm a guild leader. So, anyways, point is the government, is it collapsing? No. Not right now. We can figure this out by Thanksgiving. If the government ain't open at Thanksgiving, then I will update the new poll to Christmas. If Christmas comes and it's not updated, my sister thinks it may not be open till January. But guess what? I think they'll have to, because if they don't, you know, that's where you're going to have some problems. And so to me, I mean, you got to ask yourself. I mean, a lot of people are like, well, you know, what's going to happen? Well, I already told you guys in the past that if people's Thanksgiving go down the crapper and their Christmas is down the crapper, you see, the Republicans need to have the government open to make them feel better. Fortunately, the Dems sit there and say, well, we want health care. What good would it be if half the people get canned or crap canned or, crap canned or canned crap. I mean, nothing's gonna happen. Poop canned. I mean, think about it. The government cannot sustain itself. So, in my opinion, it's all dead in the water. So, thing is, they have to open up. Otherwise, no one's going to buy anything. And if the government basically finds out they can't do Thanksgiving properly, people are going to complain. And when people start complaining is when the government can't sustain itself, because the Democrats are, we want health care. So think of how many people are going to be pissed off eventually, Democrats, for not opening government. It'll be all these people that are working on jobs, fumes, right? No money, working for free while they're pissed off that their senators and Congress people are getting paid, or the fact that they're going without and then one day they turn around. I mean, did you see the latest news? My brother Ted would be like, oh, did you see? Yes. And that is the government is now seeing people's cars being repossessed. Think about it. Repoed cars. Now, one other thing. People start losing and the government can't open and the government decides to crap can all these people. People are going to lose their houses. It's not just houses being lost. The homeless population rise. Then what happens? They're going to build bunkhouses on farms and tell you to pick cotton? Think about it. We're in a dire situation where we have to take one day at a time, analyze it, and not get angry until we hear something where there is actual truth. And the truth will set you free. And that is, quote unquote, is the economy going down the toilet? Are we going socialistic? Are we going communistic? Are we panicking over nothing? Are we panicking over something? I mean, maybe for the rest of the year, I should be talking about prepping for Christmas and prepping for other issues. Because, I'm only doing one day at a time right now. That's all you have to do. You can only sit there and say, I'm blessed today, I'm blessed tomorrow. The government stays shut down, you got a problem. I mean, think about it from this point of view, okay? Here's how it happens, okay? Government stays shut down like Ted says. Oh, the government shut down. Okay. They fire all these people. Then they fire more people, right? And no one's getting checks. And then all the people in the job market's now tanking because of it, right? And they say, oh, we can replace them with AI. But meanwhile, that means the USDA is not paying anyone, right? So that means Brooke Rollins goes, oh, well, the USDA can't maintain this, can't maintain that. We can't support the farmers. Farmers go out of business. The federal government's USDA housing goes out of business. The USDA housing loans for houses, etc., houses and other issues go under. In the end, what happens? In the end, what happens? Now, in the end, what happens? All these people are out of jobs. USDA doesn't get paid. USDA gets gutted and shut. HUD gets gutted and shut. All these government agencies get gutted and shut. And then all of a sudden you say, oh, Social Security's no more because we had to gut those because we had 50,000 people unemployed. And my brother Ted would be like, oh, but they're mandatory. Really? They don't need to be mandatory. If the government can't sustain itself because of it, because of the thing. I mean, Social Security's mandated program, yes. But I'm just saying, for the sake of the argument, if the food stamp stopped and the housing stopped and other programs stopped, like Medicaid stopped because, doctors aren't taking it and other thing else, that is when you got to start to worry. When these government agencies are completely closed and you're not even seeing a payment for housing. That's when you see millions of people homeless, millions of people going hungry. That's when you know the economy is taking a turn for the worse. But right now, you need to have some type of faith in whatever you believe in. Zenithaw's been protecting me for years, but I don't know if he thinks that he doesn't know about you. Skyrim. It's usually Arcade, but I changed it to Zenithar, the god or goddess of commerce. Anyways, you have your message. So think about it. Are we going into a shutdown? Just take it one day at a time. And don't click on clickbait. Because when you do, what are you going to do? You're just sit there. I mean, look, let me put it this way. There's people out there in the world, people. That's right for the picking. And, right for the taking. And these people that think about it, I got that saying from, again, Skyrim, the game. And these people turn around and they literally are saying, look at us. We can make a online model online, and we can do clickbait. Clickbait, right? Clickbait. Then what happens? They turn around and they do clickbait. And there's guys out there, right, that they do clickbait all the time. They're like, oh, win a free Prepper's generator. People would go and say, oh, yeah, I'm subscribed. Give me your generator. They don't win. Eventually, they think it's a scam. Fortunately, I'm just giving an example, but think about it from a prepper's point of view. These preppers, they say, oh, our great channel, and they start small. Oh, you just need this and this and this, and eventually, oh, you need a whole room for it. Then, oh, you need 2 rooms, and then eventually, they get 1 million subscribers, and they can sit there and say, well, I could basically feed them a crap sandwich, and they'll listen. They'll eat the crap sandwich, and so it starts to get worse and worse in the clickbait. Like I knew a guy, it's like 3 years ago. One of my sisters, Pee-wee, I love Pee-wee dearly too. She's a sweetheart. She sent me a link about a guy from Canada. He's a prepper. The world's going to end. We're going to have World War III in 3 days. 3 years later, 4 years later, I'm still waiting for the nuclear bombs to fall. Think about it, people. Clickbait. Literally. These people sit there and they build a following. And then you get these cult people. And they believe whatever you shovel them. It's like, this one guy was doing prepping and he was talking about pricing everywhere. And then all of a sudden one day, I don't know what happened. But you see, point is, you can't basically build a prepping channel unless people want to listen. Now, the small people like me, they don't care. People just don't care. They look at me and they think of me as entertainment. But sometimes I get an email and it's like, you know what? You've given me a lot to think about. Thank you for the truth nugget. The nugget of truth is, if you allow people to sit there and you subscribe to 500-600 channels and the algorithm says, oh, look, this new video says that we're all going to die in 3 days, and you watch it and you're going, or, someone asked me the other day, Chloe, why don't I watch Epic Economist? Well, 12 months ago, Chloe was visiting me and we watched 6 or 7 videos back to back. You know what he said? The economy was going to tank before Trump became president. And then the economy was going to tank under Biden. And then the economy, 10 years he's been saying that. So to me, literally, you got to, and then, you have people like Glenn Beck saying, oh, the economy, blame the Democrats. Yeah, the Republicans want to blame nothing but the Democrats. What if I wanted to blame the Republicans? Literally, I can't, Sister Pee-wee knows and others that I blame both parties. They're useless. They sit there and they're like, oh, we need to stop it for healthcare. Really? What's healthcare going to do for half the country if the country goes bankrupt because you're forcing healthcare? Literally, doesn't anyone realize, the people that are going to vote next year, literally, the thing is you're going to have Donald Trump. You heard Speaker Little Johnson. If you don't vote next year, they're going to impeach Trump. No, they're not, okay? Thing is, it's all lies. They could try to impeach Trump, but even if they basically turn around, the American people says, we're going to go out fighting, and we're going to own the redneck Republicans. That's what they're calling it. Us people are Republicans. Redneck Republicans are ours. Then that's fine and dandy, but what happens if they sweep the House and the Senate and then they turn around? What are they going to do? They could pass all these bills, right? They could sit there and say, we're passing reforms in the Supreme Court for this. We're going to make it, what was it? It was saying, Donald Trump was saying that they'll give Washington, D.C. Representation. make it a state. They'll make Puerto Rico a state. Well, while we're at it, let's make the Virgin Islands, the U.S. Virgin Islands, a state, and the Mariana Islands a state, and Guam a state. Guam, by the way, would be Republican apparently, but guess what? They're only talking about these two places. Why not just make all our landmasses states? I mean, literally, what next? He goes in and says, oh, we have Iceland. We're going to take Iceland first. Oh, sorry, Greenland. What then? We're going to make Greenland a state, and then Canada a state, and Mexico a state, and Venezuela a state, and Argentina? Come on, dude. I mean, literally, these people know that these other countries are sovereign. We're not going to take their states. Unfortunately, these people say that. Now, my brother Ted would believe anything. You can give him a crap sandwich and he'd eat it because, frankly, honestly, I don't think the Democrats in my 40-plus years have only thought about it once making our territories states. Think about it. And the only reason why they want Canada is I have negative clue. But for the sake of the argument, all these people are like saying, no, we have to fight back. We have to have our freedoms. The thing is, here's the problem, okay? There's two ways you can look at this. You can look at the presidency as a dictator, as a lot of redneck people are being called that, we're dictator worshiping crapheads. Or two is, you can look at it as their kleptocracy. They want to drain everything they can before the 4 years is up because they want to run out and then move to another country. Or, you got these people that, no one knows what's going on, okay? Everyone has their own opinions, but you got these Democrats that believe the blue wave's coming. Okay, let's just say the blue wave, the big tsunami comes in 2026, right? And then they sit there. Donald Trump, all he's got to do is take his pen and be like, veto. And then they go and pass it, veto. And then he goes to the Supreme Court, I vetoed this 90 times. They can't deny me. Literally. Think about it. The thing is the American people, there's two types of people. The redneck Republicans, that's what they're calling us. We have our own opinions. Think about it. Look at the debt ceiling. The debt ceiling, right? So you got two types of the cards. You got the Republicans who want to put more money in the military, more money into deporting people and saying, oh, the illegals are voting. Well, we don't know if the illegals are. I hear a lot of people saying illegals are, but I don't see it. I don't see the numbers. I'm a numbers person. I'm a numbers girl. On the other side of the fence, you got the Democrats trying to be socialists like Bernie Sanders offering free health care. If we don't get health care, we're screwed. And then you got the Democrats saying, if you want us to fight for you, donate $3, $5, $7, $25 every day in your email. Think about it. How many people have that kind of money if the economy's tanking and they can't buy food for a kid? Now, for the sake of the argument, the Democrats want the socialistic programs. And the more the people sit there and see that they're Hispanic people, they're African American people, they're transgendered people being intimidated, harassed, discriminated, they're going to go Democratic. Yet the Democrats have some dark secrets. Like the Democrats will turn around like what's his name? Hold on, let me get his name. Tom Pendergast, political boss who controlled Kansas City and Jackson City County Democratic Party, right? Chairman of the Jackson County Democratic Party, member of the Kansas City, Missouri City Council. Personal details: his name was Thomas Joseph Pendergast. He died at 72 years old in 1945. Now, you guys can sit there and say, so what's wrong with him? Well, Pendergast was an immigration of town, blah, blah, blah. He supported President Truman. Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me see. So basically, Tom Pendergast was one of these people that had Harry Truman became good friends, and the senator, the referred him as the senator from Pendergast. Now you guys are gonna sit there and say, well, what's this got to do with it? Well, let me put it this way. So so basically, what happened with Pendergast was Pendergast owned a lot of companies, right? And these companies had contracts, right? And he had to put in a fair bid. And Truman wasn't happy that Pendergast was going to put him in as county commissioner, which means they commission things like roads, bridges, and he had this proposal, right? Well, to do that, he says only the best bids will be taken, right? And the lowest bid that will do the job. That was their job back then, the lowest bid, right? So what happened was Tom owned a concrete company and got a lot of contracts for the roads, but he turned around and Truman was, one night I was talking to the first lady at the time. She wasn't first lady. They were in their home with their little daughter. And he said, I have to give the county all this stuff for Tom Pendergast to rob the county, right? And then Tom Pendergast said, you can let me steal $10,000, you can let me steal $100,000, but the point is, we're giving something back to the community, so what gives? Well, thing is in my opinion, the Democrats, good morning, analyst, good morning. So the Democrats, in my opinion, through the 1930s, the ones that were basically like trying to give, to make the community better, they're also committing fraud, waste, and abuse, and they're getting away with it. And this is where I don't tolerate fraud, waste, and abuse. I mean, think about it. Tom Pendergast was doing fraud, waste, and abuse, and Pendergast was like making threats against Harry Truman, our president. And eventually, Harry went back to being a farmer, after the stock market crashed and his haberdasher business went out. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Harry Truman. Harry Truman paid off his debt of the business failures in the 20s. But the thing is Harry also knew it crashed because of too many people with credit. That's the thing I wanted to tell you before going, because the point is there's a lot of people out there that rely on credit right now because the economy's going. People are going to the bank and saying, hey, I need credit because my job as a government employee, they're not paying me, and the bank's like, okay. Meanwhile, the banks are going to start to buckle. Now, the stock market crashed because everyone is putting everything on credit. Make a small payment today, take home a washing machine. I mean, look at nowadays. We're going back to the same ways. I mean, have you ever heard of the what's that program called? It's like buy now, pay later program. I can't remember what it's called. Let me look it up because it's on every Y site. There's like Zipco and Nuvi and BECU and Albert and I just can't. Affirm, that's what it is. Affirm is everywhere. It's like Affirm came out on top, and they're like, "Hey, you want to finance this?" No, because I'm like Pa Ingle from Little House on the Prairie, cash on the barrel. Yeah, of course, people believe in credit. Now, some people have terrible credit. I mean, literally, I had a lady the other day say, "Oh, your credit must be great." We don't talk about credit now. So, point is economy, the stock market could crash if everyone took out credit again. Half the country doesn't want credit. And the other half the country, the bankers are pissed because half the country doesn't want to take credit, and the same half that doesn't want credit doesn't want to own a house. I mean, think about it. Has anyone ever seen the reason why the country is basically semi-broken is people don't want to pay for a house? They don't. They could walk to save money. They will. They could be like, oh, I lose a lot of weight. Then, on top of that, they don't need to pay for a car. And then, if they don't need to pay a car and they're living in an apartment, they don't have to pay for the repairs. Everything is paid for by the person that they're renting from, or the house they're renting from the owner. Now, how many houses have you seen are for rent? There's so many houses. Every American can have a house and it'd still be fine and dandy. I mean, literally. I mean, yeah. I mean, literally, I was just thinking about, someone was asking me about, someone was asking me about, land the other day. They're like, I would like to have a piece of land, right? And I want, Chloe was asking the other day, she wanted a, tiny home. She's like, I would love a little tiny home, right? And I'm thinking, yeah, that'd be nice if you wanted a tiny home. And to me, I'm like, that would be nice. I mean, you know, you got these company like Boxable, and she's like, I really want a Boxable. And it's like, yeah, that'd be nice if you really wanted a Boxable, you know. I mean, they have all these different designs, you know. It's like 2-bedroom Boxable or, you know, yeah, 2-bedroom Boxable. And I'm thinking that'd be nice if you want a Boxable, you know. But the thing is, most of these people, you know, they started out with a 1-room Boxable. Now it's like 1-bedroom Boxable, and then it's like 2-bedroom Boxable. And to me, it's like, yeah, to me, it's like yeah, I think a 2-bedroom wouldn't be too bad. But then, you know, you have other ones. But then, you know, Chloe's just like, I want a Boxable. Okay. You know, they have other ones. It's like they're now doing the RV baby box. What's the RV baby box? Oh, it's basically a towable trailer. Yeah, if you want basically one of those. Anyways. The Sanctuary. What is this? Rapid housing. 55 and 85 square feet. Yeah, so it's basically new Boxables that are the size that you could for homeless people. Yeah. Large buildings? Let's see what the large building is. But point is, you know, there's a lot of people out there. Orders 50 plus units from developers. Bigger casitas, single families, apartment Boxables. Wonder how that works. Townhomes? Townhome Boxables? Yeah, I think I'd rather just have a basic Boxable casita. But anyways, it also depends on the price, you know. Anyways, the bottom line is back to our story is, you know, the American people, they're financing everything. And so because they're financing everything, the American people are turning around and, they're entertaining is what I'm trying to say, and cheap. But most people are financing, and that could cripple the country if they don't pay back the financing. And so again, you have to look at the history of the stock market. But right now, we shouldn't be worried about the supposed new depression coming in. There's a lot of people that want the depression. I just say keep prepping, prep hard, prep fast, and don't worry about it. in the meantime, I think everything will work out eventually. Yeah, is what I was going to say. So, yeah. That's what I was going to say. So, anyways, that's all I want to say. And we'll see how everything plays out. In the meantime, you just have to be frugal, and everything will work out eventually. And, is the U.S. economy collapsing? We'll find out by Christmas what's going to happen. If people are cutting corners, then there's a problem. So, yeah. Anyways, I just wanted to say that. It's been a long video yet again, but, just keep an eye on what's going to happen for the future, and we'll come back to it now. I don't know if I'll be doing a video Friday night or Saturday. It just depends on my mood, but you got enough content for a while, and yeah, so time for me to play a game. I haven't played a game in a couple days, but doing these videos, and it's not good. I mean, we'll get through this eventually. So, meantime, like I said, thanks for watching. Just keep an eye on what's going to happen. Do some research for yourself about, why corruption is there, why, you got Democrats and Republicans semi being corrupted and greedy. You'll find out why. I mean, they think they're doing a favor to the community, but at the same time, they're skimming off the top, and people know it, and people are tired of it, and people want justice, and people want accountability, and that's what they're voting for. They're voting for accountability. So, yeah. And if you have any questions, let me know. So please add and subscribe. Please post comments. Please leave feedback, suggestion. Hit the like, subscribe button. So some fun for your family, including your dogs, your cats, your bunnies, your service dogs, your service bunnies. Hit the bell notification, thumbs up button, subscribe button. Just keep the comments nice is all we ask. Thank you, everyone. And